Cancer, welcome to your twin flame full read check-in. You could be a Cancer sign, or you could be watching because your twin's a Cancer sign. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm grateful that you are here. It is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest. Some of it might be for you, some of it might be for someone else. If it doesn't resonate, please check your moon sign, rising sign, or Venus sign, because that could be more of the energy you're in. The energies are all over the place right now. We are stepping into the solar eclipse. And it didn't dawn on me until now, but I'm just, because I've been putting off, I don't know what it is, but I could have done this reading anytime at all today, and we're now stepping into the solar eclipse, and I'm being guided to read now for those of you that are Cancer twin flames. So whatever that means, it is what it is. You can follow me on Instagram at Candi Wishman, and I do personal readings as well. The information is all in the description box below. I do have a Patron account if you want early access to these videos and some other goodies that I share with my patrons. And yeah, all right, let's get a roll. Let's get on a roll. Let's get this show on the road. Yeah, how about that? All right, current... Let's see, current situation between the two of you. What do we got going on, Cancer? Current situation. Okay, so we have the sun. Okay, so we do have, every time I see this card, I don't know what it is, but I just see the sun will come out tomorrow. That song comes out all the time, but I just feel like this is creativity, a new beginning, birthing of something new, clarity. I mean, it represents the sun, and the sun in the tarot deck, as you know, is one of the happiest cards in the deck, but I'm not getting an overtly happy energy right now from whoever I'm reading for, or whatever collective I'm reading for, or group of you that I'm reading for. I will preface, I do tend to read for the divine feminine, and I speak of the divine masculine being the other twin, but the energy is interchangeable, and gender it doesn't exist here. It's only energy. So this doesn't happen very often, but I'm being pointed, I'm being guided that some of you need to do some kind of water cleanse, or maybe we can even, our soul guidance teams can kind of work on that. We're just going to cleanse your energy, balance your chakras. While you're watching this, you might feel some interesting vibrations throughout your body, specifically the lower chakras I am getting. And for some of you, your twin's higher self is trying to communicate with you either through certain sentences or words that you're seeing, whether you're seeing them on social media or you're picking them up in a book when you're reading, or in lyrics from music. So be mindful of that, Cancer. All right, what is the challenge for you guys right now? There's a lot going on. Ooh, and it could be the energies. Yeah, we have some anxiety here. So that tells me that there's fear somewhere in the connection. But as we know, fear is really just a navigational tool to help you figure out what wound it's trying to protect, right? A protective ego creates fear to keep us safe, and it's not often from external things, but it's often from feeling the pain of a wound that we may still have. So if you're here, chances are you're probably in little to no communication. There could be some fear around that. There could be fear, but specifically when this card comes out, it talks about the storm being far away. Almost like you're just trying to prevent yourself from being hurt, which is a very human thing to do, by the way, and there's no judgment here. I really need to preface that when I start my videos, when things come out, whatever, there's no judgment in them. It's just about giving you perception and awareness around things. All right, let's take a look at some hidden factors. Let's look at, or a hidden factor that we need to be mindful of. Yeah. So we have happy family. We have some family energy here. What I'm getting from this dynamic is, one, your family members are highly involved in your lives in some capacity. For some of you, okay, so there's a lot of opinions here. There's a lot of I don't want to say judgments, but I just feel like the close proximity of that you have to your family, that they have to their family, makes it difficult, I think. Beyond that, what I'm seeing is there's fear over separation of family or worrying about children in family, okay? So it could be that some of you have kids with other people and you fear their well-being, okay? But it's not to say that anything, your kids are protected regardless. They're divinely protected. And most of you are learning that, but I just feel like there's some of you are being faced to heal your family issues right now, and your perceptions around family, perceptions around what it means to be family. Okay. I love that there's a rainbow here. It tells me that you're in the thick of things right now, but it's shifting, and it's shifting into this brighter, more clear concept of reality for you. So just be mindful that it feels rough right now, Cancer, but it's going to get better, okay? All right, so I'm going to pull a few cards for you, a few cards for your twin, and see kind of where you guys are at right now. So let's get a card representing you right now, okay? We have the moon, okay? So we not only have the white wolf, the dark wolf, we have the light wolf and the dark wolf. We have choice, but we also have fear. And I'd be guided to look at choices being made out of fear. I feel like you're being given an opportunity to recognize a common pattern that you have. Perhaps you often will shoulder on the air of caution. Some of you, it's because you don't want to bring embarrassment or shame to your family. You want your family to be proud of you. Some of you want your family to be safe. But there's this underlying fear, and I'm hearing childhood. Whatever it is, it's from your childhood. It needs to be investigated because it's giving you an opportunity. It's sort of illuminating the fact that, okay, I'm constantly in this same situation, and you fear having the situation again, but the decisions you make because they're based out of fear keep putting you in this decision. So it's almost like, I could move and go here, but I'm afraid to move and go here because whatever could happen. So you make a different choice to try and protect yourself or to do the safe thing, and you end up in the same situation all over again. So it's about recognizing patterns here. Let's get some clarification on this moon. Yeah. So interestingly enough, we're getting quite a bit here, which is not surprising because that's been happening a lot, especially with the energy the way it is. I sometimes do this, but I'm going to do this for this sake because this is what's coming through. This particular fear is around your connection with your twin. Very obvious, I know. But often the things that I don't like to talk about that. I like people to focus on themselves, but in this case, it's important. I feel like your twin, and we'll get some information on them and see if we can tap into their energies and what they represent to you and how they show up in this physical world. They're very locked down with their emotions. And what I'm getting from this is for you, it's understanding that everything that happens subconsciously, energetically for the feminine will manifest physically for the masculine. So they're very physically locked down with their emotions, but subconsciously, because you have these fears, you are also locked down with your emotions. You don't allow your true emotions to flow or to face them because there's so much fear there. So in essence, there's this energy of walking away from that because you don't want that anymore. But the interesting thing is, energetically, you keep putting yourself in situations with people that are emotionally detached or emotionally locked down. And the reason for that is because you're attracting what you feel is safe subconsciously. So even though you might want connection and you might want to have emotional conversations with people, because there's this underlying wound, perhaps from childhood, that doesn't allow you to express your emotions, or fear of emotions being expressed, you end up bringing people into your life that behave in that way. You want to walk away, but the interesting thing with this Four of Swords being this particular card and coming up is you're in a place where you're starting to be aware of this pattern so that you can change it. You can put to rest your old self. Sorry. And let those patterns pass you by. You can walk away from those patterns when you face that subconscious fear over the emotions you have, okay? That's not an easy thing to do, but it's really important in this particular case because it's stemming your growth emotionally and energetically. It's not allowing the sun to come out and shine for you. All right, let's take a look at, let's get a card representing your twin right now. Okay, that was too many. Let's just get one for now, and we'll get some clarifiers. So we have the Queen of Wands, interestingly enough. So we have Cancer, Leo energy. This person's kind of a self-starter, is what I heard. They have a lot of passion for life. They're very headstrong. I get that the Queen shows up here. Again, this is masculine energy. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. I think it's interesting that they do have the energy of locking themselves down emotionally, but they make up for that in charisma and show. So people don't really realize that they're disconnected from their emotions because they're so moving forward. I don't know what's going on. We got some throat and third eye stuff happening. So we're just going to do a little work on that in the background while I'm doing this video. I'm going to pull some clarifiers here. They could have Leo and Cancer very strongly in their chart. Chances are, if you're twins, you probably have the big three in common. You probably both have Cancer on some level. Cancer sign in your chart on some level. I think it's interesting for you. You act out in a way where you need the emotional validation. And they act like they don't need emotional validation at all. So it's interesting that there's mirroring happening here, but let's get some, okay, being guided to shuffle a certain way, and then we'll get some more clarifiers on your person right now. Again, I'm being called to note that if you're trying to fit this situation into your life, somehow it may not be, the message may not be for you. So if it doesn't fit or it doesn't make sense to you, or you're trying to, fit it in some way, that means it's not resonating, and that's okay. It just means that this message may not be for you today. Okay. All right, let's get some interesting. Yeah. Too many. One more. Thank you. Okay. So we have Libra energy here. We have the Justice card. Okay. So there's some karmic lessons that they're learning right now. They could be also the energy of someone that it's so interesting. Okay, this is wild. So for you, you're somebody who wants deep connections with people, even though subconsciously that scares the crap out of you, but you still look for that in relationships. This person, because they're emotionally have their own fears over emotions, because remember, you guys mirror each other, right? They look for validation in a very superficial way. So they may have a lot of, fling relationships. Okay, very superficial relationships, dating, hooking up, whatever, right? Again, there's no judgment here. It doesn't make them a bad person. That's how they emotionally cope. And if they are male and they have masculine energy, the karmic masculine energy has men or masculine energy, doesn't matter if they're women, they may have predominant masculine energy, has them connecting. That's how they feel emotion, is through physical contact. So just be mindful of that. Okay, we have the Three of Swords energy here, which is also Libra. Okay, it's the second decade of Libra. So October 4th to October 13th, for those of you who are wondering. They're avoiding heartache just as you are. They're just doing it in a different way. And then we have the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is Taurus energy. There's a bit of a stubborn energy here, a very cocky energy. They may have this, I'm going to be victorious no matter what, but it's a false bravado. So again, you protect yourself in one way, they protect themselves in another, but you're both being invulnerable to love. And that makes things difficult, but there's an awareness here around that you can do something about that, Cancer. Okay, let's take a look at what is on your mind these days. Okay, the Ten of Cups. Yeah, look at that. What a beautiful card. I love that there's another rainbow. Okay. And music's coming up again. There's something about music for you here, Cancer. There's like a musical note for like musical words. Anyway, this is the happy, healthy home. This is, again, restructuring of the concept of family. And I'm going to point this out. This is a same-sex couple. We have a male and female in this one, but we have a female and female in this one. So I feel like there's a lot of restructuring around family beliefs here that is happening perhaps for the both of you in some way. But in your mind, I'm sorry, I'm coughing so much. This is horrible. I know it must sound awful, but so I think it's very much on your mind, because that's the energy that's shifting and changing, not only the relationships with your family members now, but your concept of what that really means. And that's a scary place to go, because for a lot of us, you know, what we were raised to believe is comfortable, right? Like that's our place of comfort. That was our true north for whatever, you know, for until we all woke up. So let's get some clarifiers here with this Ten of Cups. Yeah. Lots of cup energy. It's interesting that your emotions are on your mind. This is growth and this is progress. So we have the Six of Cups, which we know is deep soul ties, but it's also nostalgia. There's a lot of going back and thinking about things. We have the Three of Cups, which is joy and bounty and friendship, kinship, camaraderie, right? And then we have the Two of Cups. Okay, and the Two of Cups is about two people meeting somewhere in the middle with two full cups. Your concept around what a healthy relationship is, what a healthy friendship is, all of these things are playing on your mind because what you once thought to be true is no longer true and no longer serving. I feel like for some of you, there's, you know, because you're waking up to this information and you're seeing how it fits in each part of your life. When it comes to the connection with your twin, you may have some guilt or regret coming up because you know, you're like, oh my God, I thought it was this. I thought this is what this meant, and now I see the truth in it. But here's the thing. I'm bringing this up because it's not for you to feel guilty or have regrets over or shame over, because you didn't know what you didn't know. You did the best you could with what you had, and it all happened so that you could be in this state of awareness. So it's to honor it and accept it and forgive yourself, forgive them, and release that stuff. And that's kind of how you unlock your emotions, right? That's kind of how you release that kind of stuff. All right. So let's see what's on your twin's mind right now. Yeah, we have the Knight of Wands. So they're kind of flip-flopping. They're going back and forth between what used to fuel their fire and what fuels their fire now, because they're not the same thing. It's sort of like, well, this used to make me happy and it's not. Okay, just like this used to make me happy and it's not for you, right? Like you're both shifting and changing. The difference is that you're awake and you're aware. They're not really awake. They just know it doesn't feel right anymore. Okay. It's also an interesting energy because feminine energy is very fluid. So it picks up things from everywhere and kind of puts it together, sort of like an alchemy. And masculine energy is very compartmentalized. Okay, so it's very clear, very concise, very concrete. So when things don't fit in certain boxes, it kind of gets left in the wayside. But when it does fit in a box, it's a very clear message. Okay, so I'm not going to be surprised when the masculine collective fully wake up that it's very clear for them, and it's very like almost like black and white. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, but I felt it was necessary to say. All right, let's see what else is. Let's get some clarifications on this Knight of Wands. Yeah. So we also have Leo Virgo energy here. We have the Eight of Pentacles came up, the Knight of Swords, and then the Death card. So what I got from this was that there's sort of like they know that things need to change. They need to do some refinement work. They need to do some maybe work on themselves around this, okay? But I feel like this truth bomb needs to come in order to create the momentum for transformation and change. I feel like right now they're kind of in, just like you're in this infancy stage of this awareness around your fears and around your emotional timeout, if you will. Whereas they are in their infancy stages of really figuring out that what they're doing isn't making them happy. It's not providing them with the same kind of connection and I'm going to say success. Like they feel like there's a lack of success here. Whoever this is actually very driven, a very goal-oriented kind of person, very status-oriented kind of person, which is a struggle because that means the ego is gonna have to be demoted a little bit. But we'll see how that transpires for them, because they're so driven, they could just as easily be like, okay, I know this isn't serving me. What can I do that's going to serve me, right? Like, so it could be a very quick flip over. It all depends on how quickly you can embrace the changes happening in you energetically. All right, let's see what's in your heart, Cancer. What is in your heart right now? Okay, so we have a couple, but I'm going to try this again. Yeah. Okay, the Nine of Cups. And I think the other one was like the Ace of Cups. Yeah. So I do feel there is this sense of self coming forward. There is this sense of, you want wish fulfillment. You want you want to be free from the cage. I feel like perhaps you were raised in a family that doesn't really express a lot of emotion. And so you're not really sure how to navigate that. Let's get some clarification on this Nine of Cups. What is in your heart? Yeah. I'm going to say, I think it's very interesting that we began with the moon for you and we ended with the moon. So this moon in particular is very intense for the Cancer collective for a reason. That hard shell exterior needs to give way to fluidity. So the first one that came out was the Temperance card. And this is not only a representation of the twin flame connection for me and my own personal way of seeing things, but it's also about self-care, self-love, and balance. And then we have the Queen of Swords. And normally the Queen of Swords is a very harsh, cold-hearted energy. But in this is a woman that needs to stand her ground. No one else may want to do what she has to do, but she knows it's important for her to do it for herself and the others around her. So there's this essence of, where you would normally have your familial support, You may not have that right now, and you may need to stand in your own power in order to move forward. And really be very mindful of who you're giving your energy to and allowing you to sway your judgment and decisions. The fact that we're ending with the moon still speaks about fear, and we'll get into triggers in just a moment where we can maybe filter out some of those fears. I don't know if there's a fear of abandonment, a fear of being ostracized or exiled are the words that I'm hearing. I mean, that could be past life stuff where you came out as who you are and people ostracized you for it, but I feel like maybe it's time to explore those fears, because all they are these, it's almost like we have this wound in us as a child, and as we grow up in adults, it evolves, but what it does is it evolves this shield and this protective barrier around it. You might want to look up your Chiron asteroid, where it was placed when you were born. It will tell you a lot about your childhood stuff, childhood trauma, that emotional trauma. But the fear is the shield around the wound. As long as you avoid this fear, you avoid the wound. But as long as you do that, the wound stagnates and it creates toxicity in your life. So it's really important to try and get through that fear so you can see the wound for what it is. It's probably like a little pea that just needs to be loved and nurtured, accepted, honored, and released. Okay. All right, let's see what is in the heart of your twin right now. The Five of Cups. When I was shuffling, I heard very clearly, so they too have this fear of not being accepted, which is why they probably pick so many partners, or why they're constantly looking for that validation. They're looking for acceptance. Okay, you're both looking for acceptance on some level. There's some sadness and disappointment here, and they're looking in the past when they're going through this. That could be why they're still not feeling accepted. Whereas you also don't feel accepted, but you want to be, right? You both want to be, you're just going about it in different ways. Let's get some clarification on this Five of Cups here. Okay. Yeah. Dang. So we have the Nine of Pentacles, the Single Ladies card. The cool thing about the Single Ladies card, and here's the kicker, because this is how this is going to work. When you get solid with who you are and what you have to offer this world and stand your ground on that no matter what, okay, it's going to manifest for them in the physical. They're not going to need to want to be with anyone to find validation. You're not going to want that, right? The interesting thing is you both accept and validate each other within. Through the connection, there's love and validation here for both of you. But you have to recognize that has to come from within. It can't be external or physical. We also have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Eight of Cups. We have a lot of eights. There's a powerhouse energy happening here. If they're in a karmic situation, they're being guided to walk away. They may be talking to it with other people, but there's a very fast moving energy here. It won't be long is what I'm hearing. If that's the situation, it doesn't have to be a romantic situation. Any one of the people they've been with could be karmic, or they're all karmic. They're all a representation of the healing that needs to be happening. Part of him was raised to believe that you were, popular if you were wanted by other people, by everybody. Just like you were raised to believe that, if someone did XYZ, it meant they loved you, right? So I feel like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be healed around this. I don't feel like it's going to be these multiple layers, though. I just feel like it's this one core thing that is going to alleviate all of those layers. Okay. So let's see if we can pull up. I don't know if it's, interesting. Yeah. a man holding a heart. So this was the trigger energy or the fear energy. And again, I'm going to go back to the fact that, you know, and I feel like, especially for feminine energies, you know, having that knight of shining armor come and save you and do certain things for you means they love you, or, you know, you're not a man, or you're not a, you know, unless you're a player or something. It's very interesting dynamic because it's something that you were both raised with. What you struggle with and what they struggle with was something you guys were raised with or experienced or witnessed growing up. The man holding the heart is about a man coming forward with his heart. Okay, but here's the thing. Do you do that for yourself? Do you show up for yourself with your heart in hand? Do you offer yourself your heart? Because until you can do that, I'm not sure anyone else can do that for you. It just will not feel the same. It won't play out the same. Okay. All right, let's look at some expectations or blockages. Okay. I feel like we talked a lot about expectations. That's why I'm not going to go there. Can we look at a blockage? Yeah. So we have community here. Okay. Some of you, and I get that this is going to be detrimental to me and what I do, but some of you might be seeking guidance from people that are not taking you on the right path. So trust your intuition. If the guidance you're receiving is making you feel bad about yourself without any pathway to feeling better about yourself, be mindful of that. It is not for your benefit. It's not resonating, okay? This also acts as external influences. So there are some people in your life that are toxic for you, just like they have people in their life that are toxic. Yours might have good intentions, but they might be leading you away from your heart. Okay, it's like that good friend that wants to back you up, but kind of gives you a gun and says, go ahead, and not gives you a gun to shoot yourself, but like, go ahead and shit on these people because it'll make you feel better, but it doesn't make you feel better. I feel like you have to be mindful of, just like you're exploring your family dynamics, you might have to explore your friendship dynamics as well. Okay, I think that's really interesting. There's a major overhaul happening right now, and I'm actually like almost lightheaded over it. All right, let's see. How do you view them? The unseen. Too much is hidden from you. So again, we have fear. When you think about your twin, when you feel into your twin, you feel fear. It's going to manifest for you in different ways, in different emotional, energetic, subconscious ways. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Sound familiar? Okay. That's all stemming from the same area. Okay. So how is your twin seeing you? Wow, I cannot stop coughing. Yeah. I'm going to tell you this. Almost all of them, this came up somewhere. Imrama. Wonder Voyage, Crossing Deep Waters, Pilgrimage, Journey of the Soul. A sense of home. Okay. But this is also a soul connection. Sorry guys, give me one moment. Okay guys, sorry about that. I'm still coughing a bit, but not quite as bad. Let's see some hopes and intentions that are coming through. I love that. We have the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, Archangel Raphael. Because when we release fear, we open up our heart chakra. I read at some point, there's something about, it was a reading online. It was a tarot reading on YouTube. But it was something about a playful year and being vulnerable to love. You both want love, but you're not willing to be vulnerable to it. So I feel like there is some work that needs to be done around that. And that's okay, because at least you have something to work on. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what the archangels have to say as we close off, because they're usually pretty bang on with this kind of thing. Queen of Gabriel, passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want, the ability to attract helpful people. So you may need help on this journey, Cancer, and that's okay because help is waiting in the wings. Connect to your higher self, connect to your twins' higher self, connect to your soul guidance team. You know, I'm so sorry. You have it in you to make these changes because you're aware of them now. So I hope that this has helped you. Please like, share, comment, and or subscribe. Be your peace, love yourself, share your light, and have an amazing day.